Hey cuties, what's up? We are back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching the most disturbing doorbell footage Iceberg Volume 2. Now, I might upload this today, even though it's like 9:30 at night when I'm starting to record this. We'll have to see. I don't think it really matters when I upload these things currently. So I might just put it up today, whenever I'm done with this. But we are doing this again. Obviously, this is by Abyssal Detective. I don't know if I said that again. We did episode 1 of this yesterday. I literally have nothing to do right now. I'm just sitting around doing literally nothing. So I was like, screw it, let's just do a rad video. So I'm not here just waiting for midnight to come around. But yep, we're doing this. This might be the last Abyssal Detective video that we do, like I said before. There is a volume 3 on their second channel, so maybe can do that. I don't know. We'll have to see if I feel like going and doing a volume 3 or not. Yeah, I don't really have much here. We don't have a hater segment today. No haters recently. No radical break today either. So we could just go ahead and get straight into it. This one's much shorter than the last one. This one's only 34 minutes.
"30 cases, 7 levels. From strange visitors in the night to crimes unfolding in real time, these clips prove the scariest moments."
Yeah, here's a full iceberg. A lot of them are censored, I guess, just for the sake of having some sort of secret, some sort of surprise, I guess.
Often happen right outside your front door. Let's begin at the tip of the iceberg. Level 1. Someone slithering through neighbor's yard.
Like literally slithering, yeah. There?
In the middle of the night, sometime in 2021, a doorbell camera caught a creepy figure slithering through the front yard. In the video shared on Reddit, the figure had been lying still on the floor for a few seconds, making it difficult to decipher what it was. When it moved, it became apparent that it was a human twisting on the floor as it crawled across the front yard. No one ever found...
Oh, whoops, left that. This is ads. Skip past this. Alright, we're back.
Never found out who it was or why they were there. Tornado Enderlin. On
Yeah, it's such a, like, nothing thing, but yeah, it is weird to just have someone crawling on your lawn. Assuming that it just isn't the person who owns the video to begin with, and they just posted this to try to get, like, a creepy footage online for clout or views or whatever. Since, what was I calling it? It's been a long time since I had to think about it. Like, ghost tuber, being a ghost tuber is a thing that people try to do to try to just get famous, question mark, quickly. I don't know if necessarily it's famous quickly, but a lot of people just put out just trash ghost content. I'm assuming to get famous. Thus, these ghost tubers out here. So I don't know if it could have just been something like that. Trying to be in that realm of the ghost tubing scene, but just creepy tuber scene, I guess, maybe.
June 20th, 2025, Hannah Deagle's doorbell camera captured a towering wall of cloud looming over houses just before a deadly tornado struck. Though it was a dark night, lightning flashes revealed the storm's structure, while the audio picked up its muffled and distorted roar.
Man, looks cool, I guess. Oh, look at... Yeah, this there. Now you can see that just this shape. Before it was just like, it's nothing but just this huge shape here. Which it might be, like, hard to see on YouTube. Hold on. It's been a while since I've busted out the pen. Yeah, like you get... I don't know how long this goes, so like this shape here. And that, like, that's the clouds in the background, and that there as well. And that's going down. Like, there's this massive... You could almost assume tornado there, but it's not. I don't think it is a tornado. It's the clouds are just form this huge shape that stands out in the foreground against, like, the background of all the other clouds out there. Yeah, there's...
Minutes later, an EF3 tornado struck Enderlin.
Yeah, because look at this.
Traveling nearly 12 miles with a wind speed of over 100 miles per hour. However, what the doorbell camera failed to capture was the destruction it left behind. At around 11:40 p.m., police were dispatched to an affected resident only to be informed that storm chasers had found 2 deceased people on the scene. Moments later, the fire department was dispatched to another location where a third body was found. The tornado destroyed about 10 homes, damaged several properties, and claimed the lives of 3 people. Devil at the door. A Carrollton resident was waiting in the car for her husband when her Ring camera notification went off. Nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to see. It was a masked person in her driveway. The person
Revelations.
made their way through the side yard to her front door, but they weren't wearing just any mask. They had the devil's face on.
Sure.
The person approached the camera. It became clear that they were wearing a red goat mask. They pretended to knock on her door while holding a sign with Bible verses that discussed the end times and Judgment Day. The verses specifically refer to the final defeat of Satan and the last judgment in which all humanity is judged. In a panic, she called the police, but by the time they got to her house, the person had already left. Still, they inspected the scene and found that no crime had occurred. They are still monitoring the situation, and the person has not been caught.
Yeah, because I mean, all he did was like come up to a door, knock. He almost didn't even knock, just rang the doorbell and just split. Like knocked on the door and then ran away.
Level 2. Jogger saves pets and house from burning. On November 6, 2021, a man was jogging in the Scotts Valley neighborhood when he noticed smoke rising from a house. He quickly stopped to get the residents' attention through their Ring doorbell camera, but no one was home. Instead of bolting off, he kept ringing, hoping someone would answer. Finally, the homeowner, Courtney Polito, saw him on the camera and replied. He told her the situation, and she heard the fire alarms going off. Panicking, she immediately gave the stranger the code so he could help save the family pets. 2 dachshunds, a rabbit, and a cat. Without hesitation...
Well, that's a lot of animals, question mark. Is he going to be able to get all 4 of them out of there? Well, the dogs and cat might just run out. The rabbit, you're going to have to keep that contained. I would assume it will just run away if you let it. The dogs and the cat obviously are going to not run away. They're going to want to be here, but I feel like the rabbit is just... his rabbit's intelligence like way lower than other animals. That's what I would assume, right? They're just head empty. So I don't know, because I don't have a rabbit, haven't had a rabbit, and we have had a rabbit in my childhood, like so young that I can't even remember the thing. Kind of young, but other than that, I don't know how smart rabbits are, so I just assume they would just be oblivious to everything, and like if you let them go outside, they would just disappear forever and never come back. Whereas like dogs and cats would come back. Like they have some sort of what is it? What is it called? They can map out the town. Like if they leave the house and go really far away, they'll be able to map their way back, maybe. Question mark.
He entered the burning building to rescue the animals. The doorbell camera captured the jogger on multiple trips, carrying the pets under his arms to safety. By the time emergency services arrived, he had already left. The fire department said that if it had burned for 10 more minutes, the house would have been gone. It was only because of the mysterious hero in a yellow shirt that they were able to contain the fire in the garage. Although smoke damaged the cabinets and their Chevy Blazer, no one was hurt. OP is being stalked. A Reddit user posted disturbing footage from her Ring doorbell camera showing a stranger repeatedly appearing at her door. Her friend had asked her if she had ever checked the recorded messages left for her. Expecting to see footage from her friend's visit, random outfit checks with her roommate, or deliveries from DoorDash, she scrolled through the recorded videos mindlessly until her eye caught an unfamiliar face. A man with dreadlocks carrying a backpack on his shoulder, repeatedly coming to her door. After pressing the bell, it appeared that he was trying to cover his face with his hands while he waited for her to answer. When she didn't, he left as silently as he had arrived. Perhaps even more creepy is what she saw when she looked back to see what the camera captured before his arrival. It was a video of her returning home after walking the dog. This meant that within a minute of her arrival, the man came in after her. This led her to believe that he was stalking her. The man has not been found, and the original poster hasn't given any updates.
I mean, how do you not find somebody who's like clear as day on camera? I mean, unless you're not really looking for the guy, but I mean, pretty much that's a clear as day photo, so, or video, I should say.
Midnight shoe sniffer.
I guess you don't really know his intentions, question mark. Also, what?
2022, a doorbell camera captured some deeply unsettling footage. In the middle of the night, a man slowly walked up to a front door and picked up a shoe left outside. Without hesitation, he lifted it to his face and sniffed it.
Why?
Just as quickly as he had picked it up, he set the shoe back down and walked away into the darkness. The homeowner later shared the footage on Reddit, explaining that the shoe belonged to his wife. It was her work shoe. To this day, the mysterious shoe sniffer remains unidentified.
Okay, just random nonsense. Again, last time I said, I was just hoping for like some silly, not necessarily hoping for silly stuff, but it'd be nice to get some silly stuff or stupid stuff. But of course, this is the most disturbing doorbell footage, not the most goofiest or whatever. So it's not going to be that way. But like something like the guy with the mask on, that's stupid, right? That's goofy. This guy sniffing his shoe is kind of gross, but you can see that as like dumb as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Woman abandons child on a stranger's doorstep. On October 17, 2018, around 8:20 p.m., a doorbell camera captured a woman carrying a toddler to a home. Smiling, she set him down on the front porch, rang the bell, and quickly walked away. In a split second, she dropped his bags and ran back to her car, leaving him behind. The toddler...
She just like is it ding dong ditched a child at a random house? I gotta like hear this again because I was not focused enough for something this crazy. Abandons child on a stranger's doorstep. I assume she'd be caught because even though you could, it's going to be harsh. You could just DNA test the child and be like, okay, this child belongs to. You reverse engineer that, and okay, this child belongs to this woman and this man, and then they can go find the woman. If that's something we can do.
Doorstep. On October 17, 2018, around 8:20 p.m., a doorbell camera captured a woman carrying a toddler to a home. Smiling, she set him down on the...
Smiling? How do you know she's smiling? Also, carrying is a strong word to use here because that's not what is being done here. She is holding him by the wrist/hand, like just one of his wrists, carrying him off the ground, and is just throwing him there, or him or her, down onto the front of the porch here, and then running. It's weird that the child didn't follow, unless she told them to stay there. You seem like a child, depending on how young they are. They have, I don't know what age this happens at. Maybe he or she, I don't know, is old enough to not have this issue. But I know there's like the attachment issues. So I remember like a nephew that I had. The moment his mom was out of view, he would just start crying. Like as soon as she was out of his vision, immediately just has like a hysterical fit, right? But I don't think he was old enough to walk yet, so maybe it's like younger than you'd think that this would be happening at. That kind of part of their development where parent leaves vision, instantly has a panic attack.
The front porch, rang the bell, and quickly walked away. In a split second, she dropped his bags and ran back to her car, leaving him behind. The toddler stood there confused as the vehicle sped off moments later. The homeowner called 911 and Child Protective Services intervened. Law enforcement released the video to the public in an attempt to help identify the woman, but this move quickly caused outrage. The woman was later identified as Kiara Woods. Contrary to what many believed, she was not the boy's mother, but a friend of hers. According to Kiara, she was doing her friend a favor.
She was a friend of the mother's, and he says she was doing her a favor. Don't tell me she kidnapped a kid and then dropped him off.
By dropping the 2-year-old off at his father's house. She claimed she was on the phone with the boy's mother at the time, who confirmed that the house she stopped at was the child's father's.
Okay.
However, it turned out to be the next-door neighbor's home.
Okay, wrong place.
Left the boy unattended. Wood said she didn't have a sweater and was trying to escape the cold. She also claimed she wanted to avoid a confrontation with the child's stepmother, who had a restraining order against his mother. Authorities investigated her for felony child abandonment or child endangerment under Texas law. However, no formal charge.
Texas again? Why? I was hoping we would get through another one of these without Texas. Showing up, this one's way shorter. Read Texas again, man?
Charges have been filed at that time, and she was
no charges.
Level 3.
Okay, that was goofy, but it could have been way worse, right? It could have been like literally a woman just dumping her child off at some random person's place and then like going off into the night, never to be seen again.
Man potentially being coerced into a robbery.
What?
Doorbell camera captured bizarre footage of a shirtless man outside someone's home in the middle of the night. At first, he pretended to knock on the door but never actually did. Then he began speaking out loud as if holding a conversation with someone. Moments later, he glanced over his shoulder, seemingly making sure the person waiting in a nearby car could see him. He stepped back and repeatedly asked, "Matt live here?"
Matt live here. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry.
As if responding to someone, he acknowledged a negative answer, then quickly returned to the car. The man has never been identified, but many believe the footage suggests he was being coerced into a robbery or break-in. His strange behavior points to someone trying to stall or avoid doing something against his will.
Yeah, don't know what to say about this. About that. Also, I wasn't expecting the word ding dong ditch to show up here after just using it. Because who even like uses that term anymore? Or even knows what that is at this point. So I'm surprised to actually hear it being like written here and said after just using that word randomly. for the baby video.
And dangerous. In Bowling Green, Ohio, a homeowner's Ring doorbell camera captured the unsettling footage of a masked man ringing the bell before dashing off. At first, it appeared to be a typical ding
Could get hit by a car or something.
many homeowners are familiar with. But this time, things were different. When the homeowners came downstairs to answer the door, they noticed the stranger hadn't actually left. Instead, he was standing across the street, eyes down, waiting for someone to open it.
Okay.
Alarmed, they contacted the police. However, by the time the officers arrived, the man had already disappeared. The Bowling Green Police Department later posted the footage on Facebook asking the public to help identify him.
How would they?
Other residents came forward reporting similar incidents that had taken place outside their own homes in the days leading up to the event.
It looks like his face is nearly completely covered. It looks like he has a mask on, but you can still see his eyes.
Despite the community's concern, the man was never identified.
Of course.
True intentions remain a mystery. Masked man with a gun. It was just before midnight in Aurora, Colorado, when David Johnson and his wife heard the doorbell ring. They didn't think much of it until David checked the doorbell camera. There he was, a man dressed in all black with a full-face white knitted mask and a handgun, ringing the bell.
Yeah, another person wearing one of these masks. Yeah, like basically a balaclava, right? Same thing with the last guy. I think he was wearing a balaclava.
Bell and waiting for someone to answer it. There's no telling what would have happened if they had answered the door. Moreover, David's house wasn't his first visit that night. Minutes before, he pulled up in front of David's house in an SUV. He was at another house, but unlike David, the homeowner answered the door. Luckily, they quickly closed and locked it before he could get inside. Aurora police investigators noted that he was wearing unique footwear, possibly motorcycle boots, and also had a lanyard around his neck. They posted the video on X to warn residents about the suspect and seek help in identifying him. Still, he is yet to be found.
Sure.
10-year-old scares away potential burglar.
How do they do that? Just freaking Home Alone? Freaking Macaulay Culkin freaking title here? Like literally, just Home Alone Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, like, what can you do with a guy just wearing a balaclava and not actually committing a crime, just looking like he is going to commit a crime?
It was the middle of the pandemic, and 10-year-old Lola Letourneau and her family were about to go out. The home security footage captures her coming out to help her mother by starting the car and turning on the air conditioning. As she
Is that allowed? Of course, it's a harmless thing, but I'd honestly just think like a cop would like try to arrest you for allowing something like that to happen, like a kid getting into a car and starting the car by themselves. I feel like you could get some sort of like fine for that if they're like, trying to find something to throw you under the bus for.
As she settled into the SUV, a stranger walked into their driveway, apparently unaware that someone was in the car. At first, she let him go because she thought he was a delivery guy, but when he began moving...
A delivery guy with nothing? Also, I know there's a long pause there. I was yawning. He's regular clothes, no stuff on his person to be delivered. I mean, of course you could make that assumption as a kid, but...
Moving toward the open garage, she knew she had to act. Without a second thought, she sprang out of the car and yelled at the top of her voice, "Get out of here!" Startled, the stranger ran back out while Lola ran inside to call for her parents. The video caught the public's attention, and her moment of bravery instantly made her the family hero. House blows up in the Netherlands.
Are you not gonna freaking elaborate on what happened to the man? He's gonna say, oh yeah, she scared him off. Anyways, next story. Like, what happened to him? Did he get in trouble? Like, arrested? Like, hello?
April 2022, a camera captured the terrifying moment a house in the Netherlands suddenly exploded and...
Well, it collapsed. It's collapsing right now, not exploding. So why did it collapse into an explosion?
April 2022, a camera captured the terrifying moment a house in the Netherlands suddenly exploded and collapsed to the ground. Earlier that day, the homeowners had called in an engineer for work, but he accidentally struck a gas line. Instead of warning the family right away, he waited. By the time he told them, gas had already begun spreading throughout the home. The family scrambled to find an emergency number and eventually dialed 112, but by the time operators instructed them to evacuate, it was too late. The house erupted in a massive blast, reducing it to rubble. Miraculously, everyone inside managed to get out alive.
Well, did say that they were told to leave. So yeah, that was good. There's a little bit of like fire there, but it's nothing like the ones we saw yesterday where there's just like a bomb was dropped on these houses. That just looked like it collapsed from like initial viewing.
Woman held at gunpoint. In February 2025, around 7:50 a.m. in Chatham County, Georgia, a woman's Ring doorbell camera captured her walking into the front porch and out of frame. When she came back into frame moments later, she was surrounded by 3 masked men with guns, flashing weapons, and holding one to the back of her head.
All right. Hold on.
One of the intruders quickly turns back to shut the door before disappearing inside. Moments later, gunfire erupted. By the time police arrived, they found a man sitting inside with a gunshot wound. They had shot him and stolen some items from the home before fleeing. Investigators believed it was a targeted attack, not a random break-in. Out of caution, they alerted nearby St. James Catholic schools to be on lockdown. The injured man was rushed to the hospital while the 3 masked suspects remain at large.
Was it a woman? So they're, like, I guess her husband or something was inside and they shot him? Question mark? And we're just not going to get any more info on that. It's just like, yeah, 3 guys break into a house and then that's it.
Shackled woman rings doorbell. In August 2018, a doorbell camera in the Sunrise Ranch subdivision of Montgomery captured some unusual footage. In the dead of night, a barefoot woman clad only in a t-shirt and bound by broken cuffs around her wrists rang a home doorbell. Before the homeowner could answer the door, she disappeared. This event would launch a nationwide search. Initially, there were speculations that she could be a missing person, but the truth came to light after authorities identified her. Within a few days, the police confirmed she was a victim of domestic violence and was now safe. She revealed that her ex-boyfriend had restrained and assaulted her. After her statement, the police visited 49-year-old Dennis Ray Collins, and found him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a rental home in the same neighborhood.
I was like, what happened? Was it go? Well, he just got out of it for free, basically. I mean, he's dead, but doesn't get to get punished for what he was doing.
Gave him long before he was gone. According to her, he sent her a message before he died, telling her to give her mother a hug and be happy.
Okay. Weird situation. Need more info on that one.
Workers attempt a break-in. When Ethan Rodriguez installed a doorbell camera in his apartment in Oak Cliff, Dallas, he never expected that it would capture a crime scene. In August 2023, a man appeared at his front door claiming to be a maintenance guy. He was holding a notebook and a pen, looking at the apartment numbers. After a few seconds, he rang the doorbell and looking in his notepad to confirm the house number one more time before the house owner answered.
Oh, yes, they came to check your air filters?
Ah, yes, they came to check your air filters? He asked. Through the camera, Ethan stated,
I don't know if that is even like a good line. Like what he's wearing isn't really good. Like you could take the bandana off for one. Like that's not giving you any points. I think he's wearing gloves. Like I'll give you like +1 point for wearing weird work gloves, but -1 point for wearing the bandana. Question mark. Like I don't know why you have that on. Also, I can't tell, but it looks like his neck is like tatted up pretty heavily. Question mark. Like here, like this looks like a big like tattoo there. Not that that matters too much, but people would still like might see that and assume bad things in combination with other bad things like the bandana.
that no one had come to check their air filters and no one was home to allow him inside to inspect them.
Okay, again, what air filters? Like who is going to come check air filters? In the AC? You can do that yourself. Just pull that thing out and clean it, then put it back in. If that's what we're talking about, it's literally like a rectangular sheet, a thin rectangular sheet to take out of the AC. So if they're not talking about that, I don't know what you could be talking about. Like you could have said anything else. All where, because the office / maintenance / whoever at apartments like this do have reasons to, what I would argue, say break into your house and do stuff with, because I mean people don't want people in their house for no reason or being forced to come in with and you being able to not be able to do anything about it. But that's just how it is at apartments, where if they need to come fix something, they will just come into your house. Even if you're not home, they will just open your door, come inside, do what they need to do, and fix it. Like, oh, we need to do inspection to make sure you're not destroying the house, or that all the electronics are right, or whatever, right? And they'll have to come in, and you're going to have to let them in. Otherwise, they're probably going to try to kick you out of the house, out of the apartment, I think. If you don't comply with them forcing themselves into your abode, question mark. Or even just like, hey, we need to check the fire alarms. Because here there are... Because the old place didn't have like sprinklers built into the building or like fire alarms built into the, I guess, electronics of like the wiring of the building. But this place, the new place, does. Like there's sprinklers in every single room, which is kind of worrying because what happens to things malfunction and now all of a sudden all of my equipment is just soaked from sprinklers freaking out for no reason, but we'll just hope that never happens. Yes, there's literal sprinklers in every room. There's alarms in every room. They're really loud because they did do like a test for them recently, like almost right after we got moved in. They checked all the buildings' fire alarms. So you could say, oh, we need to check your fire alarms if these are buildings that you know have those built into the wiring of the buildings, or what I was saying earlier, we need to do routine maintenance, making sure that you're not ruining the building or whatever that those things are for. Check the plumbing, yada yada yada, whatever. Yeah, you could have said literally anything if you just know anything about these apartments, other than we need to check your air filters. Like, hello? I'm not going to let you in just to check air filters for what?
No one came to check the apartment.
No. Yeah, we're checking the air filters.
Oh, nobody's home right now. You'll have to wait until another day.
Oh, let's appreciate it.
The maintenance guy thanked him and knocked on the door across the hallway. Moments later, everything took a turn. The supposed maintenance guy, now holding a gun, turned around and started kicking the door to force it open. After a few futile kicks, another guy who had been waiting in the background wearing a mask joined him to push the door open. Fearing for
This is a bigger guy.
Ethan fired approximately 13 rounds through the door. The intruders fired back before fleeing down the hallway. Within minutes, Dallas police arrived on the scene and collected evidence, including the doorbell footage.
I was like, who was shooting through? It was this guy or the guy? It was the other guy. So he was home, but he was lying about being home and just saying, oh yeah, no one's home, you have to come back later. And then they started breaking in. Like they were like really going in on that door. Like, Jesus Christ, that big guy, when he came in, like that was a lot of force, I think. But you can see the bullet holes here, like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. Like, what if those, like, well, is it through the door? Did he just shoot through the door? It penetrated through the door. That went all the way into the next wall. What if that went into the next building over? I mean, you're trying to like protect yourself, right? But hopefully no one on the other side got killed. Like over here.
They shared the footage online for the public to help identify the intruders, and the video quickly went viral. Within a few days, the unmasked guy was identified as 30-year-old Aaron Contreras. He was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, deadly conduct,
The tattoo there. You did have a tattoo over here.
and attempted burglary of a habitation. The second suspect, who was wearing a mask, remains unidentified.
Of course.
A massive, deadly fire almost kills homeowners. Just a month after Mike Fernandez proposed to his partner in their driveway, their Ring doorbell camera would end up saving their lives and their home. Around 3 a.m., Mike and his fiancée Katie and his brother were asleep when his phone notifications began going off. Half awake, Mike opened his eyes to check what was happening, only to see blazing flames outside their front yard.
What is with this B-roll? This phone's B-roll? I mean, the B-roll of this phone. Like, you had to have a cracked screen? Like, hello? Really? We out here with cracked screen B-rolls? I don't know if I've ever cracked a screen on a cell phone. Cell phone I've had right now could have been for like a decade at this point. Like, it's a piece of trash. And yet, despite having it for so long, this screen is still intact. Question mark. So, like, I don't know how many people out there are cracking their phones, and maybe it's more common than I think, but I think I have succeeded in not doing that. Maybe I have, I don't know. I do have like what I consider like a graveyard, a cell phone graveyard, because I have every cell phone that I've ever had since I was 16, question mark. Which I know sounds crazy, like, oh, you had a cell phone at 16, but I don't think that's actually that crazy, because I feel like people now are being born with a cell phone in their hand, right? You know, you get born into the world and they give you a cell phone as soon as you get brought into existence. So people are here with like single digits with phones. So I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school, and that was a flip phone, because that's just how old I am, right? You know, flip phone to make sure you're safe, question mark. So yeah, there's no like internet stuffs or whatnot, what you would be doing nowadays. Yeah, so like every phone I've had since then, I still have, I think. Question mark. Anyways,
I finally opened up my eyes and looked to my right, and outside my bedroom window, I just saw what looked to be like flames.
The fire had broken out in the trees next to the driveway, and strong winds were pushing it rapidly toward their home. Thinking fast, Mike grabbed a fire extinguisher and tried to contain it, but the flames
yeah, that's not going to do anything.
to control. Realizing the danger, they fled the house. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Ironically, the family had removed their smoke detectors while repainting the home, so the ring alerts were the only thing that warned them in time. Their home still sustained fire damage, but thanks to the quick alert, it wasn't completely destroyed. Intruder lounges around the porch. Maris Lopez was clearing out footage from her Ring doorbell when she came across a disturbing video. The night before, while she and her 10-year-old slept in their Albuquerque, New Mexico home, a stranger spent the entire night on their porch, and he didn't leave until dawn. The Ring doorbell camera caught him coming through the gravel onto her front porch. He carelessly dropped his backpack on the chair and settled in comfortably for the next 6 hours. Not even her security signs, which warned she had a Ring doorbell camera and an armed response team, could stop him. During his time there, he paced back and forth, peered into windows, lit a stick, and smoked. At one point, he even dropped his pants, exposing himself to the camera. He finally left the porch after 6 a.m. Upon discovering the footage, Maris filed a police report and requested that law enforcement increase patrols in the area. After sharing the video online, neighbors reported seeing the same man knocking on doors and wandering around. The intruder has not yet been identified.
This guy's just wandering around, like wanting to break into places, but not actually breaking into anywhere.
Chilling video shows screaming woman begging for help. On April 21st, 2024, around 10:45 p.m., a doorbell camera in Oregon captured a disturbing scene. A distressed woman rang the bell frantically, pounding on the door as she glanced over her shoulder in fear, desperately hoping someone would answer.
Yeah, I was like, you could see this guy running up on her.
Suddenly, a bearded man appeared, grabbed her, and forcefully carried her away. Clinging to the door, she screamed for help.
Please help me! Please help me!
Her cries went unanswered. The man carried her off and moments later drove away in a pickup truck. The next morning, the homeowner reported the footage to police, who released it publicly to seek help in identifying the suspect. Within a day, the victim was located and moved to safety, and the man was arrested and charged with kidnapping. Investigators...
Okay, well, cut and dry. A good thing. I mean, I was surprised it was that just easy. You'd only assume that like the worst could happen from something like that, but they got him.
Later confirmed that the suspect and the victim knew each other, and this was not a random attack. Confused intruder tries to climb in through the window. On the night of June 29, 2018, Christine Paul, a former police officer living in Fresno's Tower District, was startled by a loud pounding on her front door. When she cracked open the door, she found a strange woman on her porch. Within seconds, Christine realized the woman wasn't in her right mind and quickly shut the door. And that's when things spiraled out of control.
Is that a freaking... what is it called? I'm talking about her shirt. Rick and Morty shirt? I've never seen the show. Question mark. I might never watch the show, but I've never seen it. It's just weird, like, this, I would assume, millennial woman who watches Rick and Morty is just, like, trying to break into someone's house, like some normal woman, normal weirdo.
Christine's Ring doorbell camera recorded the intruder pounding frantically on the door to force it open. When that didn't work, she backed up and hurled the full weight of her body onto the window. The window screen snapped off and she yanked it aside, reaching her arm inside. By then, Christine had grabbed her 9mm pistol and called 911. She shouted at the woman to stop.
What is going on? What is going on? I will shoot! I have a gun! Why?
Visibly confused, the intruder asked, "What's going on?" only backing off after Christine warned she had a gun. Moments later, Fresno police arrived and restrained the woman, but the story didn't end there.
Okay, so she was still here, but she was just, like, hanging out. Is she just, like, having mental issues and thought this was her house? And so she was trying to break into her own house, but it turns out this isn't her house? You know, because she's just having, like I said, mental issues.
The intruder was later identified as 29-year-old Hannah Nakagawa, a first-grade teacher at Fresno Unified School District.
A teacher? Like, what happened?
The next day, a police chaplain showed up at Christine's house, but not to provide support or guidance. He was there to introduce himself as the intruder's father. Christine refused to talk to him. Instead, she demanded that a lieutenant or sergeant be sent over. Hannah Nakagawa was later charged with misdemeanor vandalism. Stalker.
What? I learned nothing from that. Why was she doing this? Hello? Do we gotta watch it again? Did I miss something?
The next day, a police chaplain showed up at Christine's house, but not to provide support or guidance. He was there to introduce himself as the intruder's father. Christine refused to talk to him. Instead, she demanded that a lieutenant or sergeant be sent over. Anna Nakagawa was later charged with misdemeanor vandalism.
Okay, I'm so confused. Misdemeanor vandalism. But why was she confused? Why was she trying to do this? You can't just, like, show this clip and be like, yeah, give more nonsense about, like, oh, her dad's a cop. He came over here to be like, oh, hey, sorry, whatever. Right? Like, what did that add to the story? I need to know why she was freaking out. Why was she at this woman's home trying to break in? And sounding so confused as she was. Like, she was the one saying, like, what's going on? The lady inside was not saying what's going on. She was saying, get out of here, right? So what was happening to her? Like, what happened? Why was she having this, like, mental breakdown? Potentially.
Stalker tries to corner a woman walking home. A Ring doorbell camera captured the terrifying moment a woman was followed to her doorstep by a strange man. In the footage, the woman rushes up the stairs, frantically ringing the bell and screaming for her friend Lacey to let her in. The man
Yeah, he's just, like, nonchalantly walking up the stairs. Like, he doesn't care.
trails closely behind, unfazed by her pleas for help. At one point, he lunges forward to grab her. She manages to slip away, but he doesn't stop. He keeps following.
Okay, he's not really trying that hard. I guess because he thinks he can just get her without putting that much effort into it.
Her, circling her car, pacing back and forth, and keeping his eyes locked on her every move.
Stop! We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
It's not my mom. Lacey!
Moments later, the door finally opens, and the woman rushes inside, trembling in tears as she
Yeah, I mean, all she has to do is circle this car, and then once she gets to the side, just sprint inside once Lacey's opened the door.
what happened. She tells her friend that the man had been following her from 62nd Street. She
Oh,
tried to
is that another guy coming out?
on the way home, but panic overcame her when she reached the door.
No, he's been following me since 60 seconds. Call the police.
Even after being shouted at, the stalker refuses to leave. He lingers on the property until a larger man steps outside and confronts him. Police were called to the scene immediately afterward. Man gets robbed at gunpoint in front of his house. In July 2019 in Fayetteville, a man's Ring doorbell camera captured 4 armed men robbing him on his front porch while his fiancée was inside with her young children. The man was returning from a convenience store when he was robbed. The thieves got everything he had on him, but they still wanted more. They followed him to the house and demanded that he open the door. While blood poured from his head, they held a gun to his back and forced him to open the door. When his fiancée heard the commotion outside, she opened the door. Inside, they took cash, debit cards, phones, lottery tickets, and illegal narcotics. The police believed it was not a random attack.
Okay, well, they said they took illegal narcotics, which implies that the people inside are, well, not necessarily the people, but the husband and wife might be dealers, question mark. And that's why they were going after them. Like, that's why they said it's not a random attack. They were going after this person because he's competition, question mark.
Level 5. Woman gets dragged by ex. In Arcadia, Southern California, a woman desperately tried to escape her estranged boyfriend when she ran to a neighbor's house for help. The Ring camera at the door recorded her fearfully knocking on the door and asking for help. Suddenly, the man appeared behind her, grabbed her hair, and violently dragged her away. She kicked and screamed as he pulled her across the hard pavement, threatening to take her life if she kept resisting. Then he forced her down the block to his home, where he held her against his will. The next day, the police got a link to the disturbing footage and immediately launched a search.
Did he say that wrong?
Block to his home, where he held her against his will.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know if this is an AI or an actual person talking. He said, where he held her against his will. No, it is, he held her against her will, question mark.
Next day, the police got a link to the disturbing footage and immediately launched a search. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, knocking on doors, and soon located both the victim and the suspect. The attacker was identified as 27-year-old Robert Michael Mendez. He was arrested without incident and faces charges of kidnapping her and attempting to take her life. The victim sustained serious injuries and had to be transferred to the hospital for treatment.
At least she's alive. Yeah, that little hiccup in the narration there does make it seem more like this is AI, which again, like, I don't really want to be watching too many of these AI voiceover videos. Like, again, this might be the very last one we do with Abyssal Detective. Even if they have stuff that I haven't seen before, more interesting stuff that I haven't seen before, just because, like, you just can't get a dude to talk. You can't just do it yourself. You gotta get AI to talk for you, question mark. And on top of that, like, you're making mistakes like that makes it obvious that you're AI, because why wouldn't you understand that you just said that wrong? Like, oh, I said that wrong, let me re-say it. Like, just re-say the narration. But if it's just AI that you've dubbed over the video, you might not even care. Might not even be paying attention to it, making a mistake like that.
Woman committing arson. On August 26, 2021, a doorbell camera in North Avondale, Ohio, recorded a shocking act of arson. At around 9:30 p.m., a woman
That
walked up to a
kerosene?
building on Reading
Yeah, like a bottle of kerosene or something.
Road carrying lighter fluid. She sprayed the front door of the building and set it
How did it do that so quickly? What the heck?
ablaze. Unsatisfied with the small flames, she briefly walked away, only to return with more lighter fluid.
How did it just ignite like that instantly? Hello?
A condo building on Reading Road carrying lighter fluid. She sprayed the front door of the building and set it ablaze. Unsatisfied with the small flames, she briefly walked away, only to return with more lighter fluid. Each time she doused the building, the fire grew larger, eventually surging upward and spreading to other parts of the structure. Once she was satisfied with the blaze, she climbed into a packed SUV and sped away. Her escape didn't last long. Roughly 2 months later, investigators identified the suspect as 30-year-old Jatoya Mathis.
She looks pretty pleased with herself, though. I'm like flabbergasted at the kerosene just instantly igniting, like as soon as it touched the ground. Like, what the heck? Like, maybe there's something hot on the ground already? But, like, wouldn't the flames travel up the stream if that was the case? I don't know. I don't know how she did that. Unless it's just that flammable, like, the contact of it hitting the ground at such velocity causes, like, ignition? I don't know.
Charged with 2 counts of aggravated arson. Brutal home invasion caught on camera. The couple returned home from a night out around 3 a.m. on January 16, 2021. What they met at their front porch almost ended their lives. The doorbell camera of their home in Hialeah recorded 2 armed men holding them at gunpoint. One of them pressed a gun to the man's head while the other pulled the woman by her hair and slammed her to the ground. The couple tried to fight back, but they were repeatedly hit with a pistol. During the commotion, one of the attackers quickly went inside the house while the other stalled the couple. He pointed his weapon at the woman and tried to pull the trigger, but it did not discharge. That was the woman's cue to fight back. She stood up and launched at him, throwing punches and slamming him to the ground. Eventually, the attackers fled the scene and got away with a gold chain and bracelet valued at $18,000. The couple was hospitalized.
18,000? Where did y'all get that money from? What the heck?
With multiple injuries, including some that required stitches. Despite this, the doorbell footage and swift investigation quickly led police to their attackers. Police identified the first man as 34-year-old Michael Diaz and his accomplice as 30-year-old Yazel Ramos. They were arrested within days and charged with home invasion robbery with a firearm and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Level 6. Doorbell camera catches crash after deadly police chase.
Okay.
Around 7:45 p.m. on May 28, 2025, the California Highway Patrol was chasing a suspect vehicle when it suddenly crashed into 2 pedestrians. 15 minutes earlier, officers had spotted an Infiniti sedan wanted for fleeing Alameda deputies. While they tried to stop the vehicle, the driver, 18-year-old Eric Hernandez, refused to pull over. 37 seconds into the pursuit, police called off the chase and switched to tracking him from a helicopter. For the next 15 minutes, they monitored the Infiniti weaving across the freeway. Eventually, Eric pulled over, stepped out of the car, but the moment he saw officers closing in, he jumped back inside and sped off again, forcing police to resume pursuit.
Yeah, like, why is this kid doing this? Oh, he's only 18, right? Like, why are you doing this?
30 seconds, Eric slammed into a minivan. Officers immediately stopped the chase to help the injured passengers, but Eric didn't stop running. Barely 20 seconds later, he lost control again, this time smashing into a fire hydrant and 2 pedestrians on the sidewalk.
It looks like maybe the woman, if the one that's like almost upstairs is the woman, like maybe she could have been okay with the guy, I don't know.
Doorbell camera caught the horrifying scene. Realizing the car was barreling toward them, the victims tried to scramble up the staircase railing of a nearby home, but they weren't fast enough. One victim, Marvin Boomer, a PhD holder, math teacher, and pathway coach for 8 years at Castlemont High School, died instantly from the impact.
Yeah, I figured he wasn't going to make it with where he was standing.
His girlfriend, the second victim, survived with injuries. Eric Hernandez was later arrested and booked into Santa Rita Jail on suspicion of felony vehicle manslaughter, hit and run, and evading police.
Not going to tell us how long he went to jail for. He's also 18, but that means he probably won't be treated as like a kid, right? He's already 18, so he might get the full weight of the law or whatever. Again, why did you steal this car? And why did you commit vehicular manslaughter? Like, he probably didn't do it on purpose, but still. Like, now you just ruined the rest of your life at 18.
Neighbor from Hell, Stephen Groves.
Oh, this is a classic. I'm surprised this one wasn't in the first episode. And is in the second one, because this is another one that's not new. I've seen before. It's just this guy just really hates these cameras.
In 2020, when Stephen Prasad, a wheelchair-bound man, installed a Ring camera in his home, he would never have expected it to trigger years of harassment from his neighbor. His niece set up the camera to keep an eye on her vulnerable uncle, but his neighbor, Stephen Groves, made it his life's mission to destroy it. As if unaware that the camera recorded his every move, Groves would come armed with tools like a claw hammer and screwdriver to try and cut the wires or smash the lens. When that didn't work, he used a marker to scrawl on the screen. On one occasion, he even tried to rip the camera off with his bare hands. But it wasn't only the Ring camera that suffered. Groves extended his hostility to Stephen and his carers. He blasted loud thumping music late at night to make them uncomfortable. At one point, he even removed the hinges from a shared door, apparently hoping it would injure his neighbor, but karma said no. The door collapsed violently on his back while he was standing at the gate plotting against the camera. Terrified for their safety, Stephen Prasad and his niece reported him to the authorities. In 2022, Groves admitted to harassment without violence. He received a 24-month restraining order, a 12-week electronic curfew, 20 days of probation, and was ordered to pay £100 in compensation to each victim. Yet despite the order, his harassment continued. Over the years, he was dragged...
I was going to say, like, I don't think it's going to stop, right? If he violated the restraining order, isn't he going to get, like, in deep trouble?
Back to court 25 more times. Wow, what an effective legal system. Finally...
Yeah, like, what do you mean, like, 25 times or whatever, and just not going to do anything about it? Just keep bringing him in? He just keeps getting away with it?
In April 2025, Birmingham City Council had enough. Groves was evicted from his council home for breaching his tenancy agreement.
Wow, 25 times. It was 2005. Was this in 2020 when this is happening? First started happening? Question mark. Like, what was the timing there? Did it really take 5 years to make this man stop? I'm trying to find where it starts. So there's the end of that. I need a time.
In 2020, when Stephen...
Yeah, 2020. So 5 years to finally get this guy to stop harassing this other guy. At 5 years.
Birmingham City Council had enough. Groves was evicted from his council home for breaching his tenancy agreement. Level 7. Woman abducted and tortured. A Texas home security camera
I think that model didn't react to that because I was like this. Yeah, you can barely tell that I'm doing that. It was like this with my head down, my hands on my head because I thought we were gonna get away with this episode. There's like only one more time earlier that this was a Texas, like Texas showed up. I was like, no. At the end, we got to have another Texas one, and it has to be really bad. We couldn't have just got away scot-free. We had to add two Texas videos here, and one of them sounding really, really bad. Like, can we stop with Texas, please?
Captured the footage of a man forcefully carrying a woman while she flailed her legs and screamed for help. Fortunately, the homeowner noticed and immediately contacted 911. He told dispatchers that the woman had been running down the street before the man grabbed her and dragged her into a trailer. When the authorities arrived, they identified the suspect as 22-year-old Jose Carcamo. He denied any knowledge of the incident, but police came prepared with a search warrant. What they found inside was far worse than expected. Officers heard a faint knocking sound coming from a basement. Inside, they discovered a closet with a board screwed across the door to keep it shut. When they forced it open, they found the woman inside, locked away without food or water for 5 days. She came from New York, where she worked as a masseuse. A few days
Because it took them 5 days to find this guy
ago, she
and her.
accepted what seemed like a better-paying job in Houston, but her supposed employers had far darker motives. Carcamo was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping, a first-degree felony, and assault causing bodily injury. Investigators later revealed that he's an illegal immigrant from Honduras living in the U.S. since 2020. Caught on doorbell cam.
You can't just say murder caught on doorbell cam. Like, hello? I don't want to see that. I don't think anyone here wants to see that. Hello?
69-year-old grandmother Kathy Flynn was brutally attacked inside what should have been the safety.
Okay, I guess this is going to be it. Also, the audio playing in the background right now, I know this video is like probably be really messed up and this woman's going to die. The audio playing in the background, I believe, is that Kevin MacLeod? Like royalty-free Kevin MacLeod, which I wasn't really thinking about. Which is kind of like, oof, because it's kind of like not really royalty-free. It's royalty-free where you have to specifically give written credit in the description of the video. Or something like that. I don't know if YouTube will do that for you. So it's like, gotta go extra trouble for this? Or what? I'm gonna get in trouble for this? I'm just gonna talk over it.
In October 2024. He began kicking at the door, trying to force it open. When that failed, he moved to the front window and smashed his way through. The camera was connected to the phone of Kathy's daughter, Natasha, who received an alert at around 10:27 p.m. That night, she had to watch helplessly as glass shattered and her mother's screams erupted. Once inside, the attacker dragged Kathy from her bed. He then stomped on her face and neck at least 15 times before fleeing back out through the broken window. Kathy suffered catastrophic injuries, including major facial and brain trauma, and died in the hospital the following day. The attacker was arrested just hours later and identified as 34-year-old Dean Mears, a stranger.
Like, why? Yeah, a stranger. Like, why were you doing this? Like, what the heck?
Kathy. During his 9-day trial at Caernarfon Crown Court, Mears claimed he had been high on drugs and remembered nothing of the attack. The jury rejected his defense. In May 2025, he was found guilty of intentionally taking her life. A month later, on June 20th, 2025, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 28 years before being eligible for parole.
28 years is still okay, but it should be longer than that, right? Just break into an old woman's house and killing her? Like, death penalty, easy, right? Birds? Oh. I thought this was going to be the end. Like, there's nothing else after this, but no, there's like a special weird animation for the ends here, level 8. There's only, like, 20 seconds left. What could possibly be at the end? Level 8 of every episode is now available on Patreon. Okay, so, level 8, there is no level 8. You gotta go pay them money if you want to go see level 8. So I guess if you want to go pay Abyssal Detective money, go to their Patreon, though again, can't tell if the voiceovers are AI, and I know YouTube is trying to crack down on AI voiceover non-slop on YouTube, so do you really want to... I mean, I'm not going to be that mean about it, but yep, that was that video. Don't know what we'll be doing next time. I was like wondering how these things are segmented. They're segmented into levels, you know, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 at the end. But yeah, that was that video. I don't know if it was as bad as the first one. I feel like a lot of people died in the first one. And we had some silly ones in there for this one. You know, the guy in the mask, the Revelations thing. And trying to leave the child at the baby daddy's place was kind of goofy. It's really messed up, but if you just want to be, because no one got hurt and it was like just really dumb, you could maybe try to have like a laugh about it. What else? There was that one, but that was whatever. Oh, this one. That one could have turned out really badly. And this one where the lady was like freaking out at the doorstep, trying to get in. Like, I need more information on that. You can't just leave us hanging on that. Like, why was she trying to break into this house? It doesn't make any sense. Yep, that's going to be it for that video. Again, I don't know what I'll be doing next time. I don't know if I'll do one tomorrow since I'm doing another post today. I feel like I'm kind of being forced into finally doing the Marry My Husband video by Stephanie. That was on the Miss Mango channel. So I don't know what else to really go. Oh, I guess we still have the Stephanie Sue, like one of the Chinaverse videos on the Stephanie Sue channel. I still missed out on. I need to go do that. I don't know which one to do first. That one or the Marry My Husband series on the Miss Mango channel. That's just something I'll have to figure out off camera, which one I want to start with first. I mean, the Chinaverse video is basically, might as well be the last video in the Chinaverse series for now. There might be more on that list, I don't know. Yeah, that's just going to be it for today. See ya, Kyuuties. Thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers or think about becoming a member. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Was working on watch time and subscribers. And don't forget we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Yeah, Kyuuties. Thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. See ya.